They talking all of this madness, talking all of this madness, talking all of this madness. They talking all of this madness, talking all of this madness, talking all of this madness. They talking all of this madness.
What's going on, everybody? You are listening to the Matt Madness Network live on YouTube. I'm your host, Aaron Lloyd. Clap it up, clap it up. Thank you. So as always, guys, anything for the algorithm, thumbs up, turn, post notifications, comment, and anything you guys say in the chat, we will interact with you guys live on stream. So let's break down what's been going on. Fanatics Fest was this past weekend. It looked fun. That's right. It looked fun. I always love seeing the fans meet their wrestlers or their favorite athletes. Always good to see that. Oh, by the way, Tom Brady, Tom Brady tried to snap Logan Paul. You don't watch that. You don't react to that as well. Fatal Influence won the W Tag Team titles. Look at that. Love to see it. And let's get started, guys. So we'll go right into what is going on in the world of wrestling. So yesterday on Tuesday, WWE Unreal, it made its return for season 3. So WWE Unreal, as you guys know, is the behind-the-scenes show that WWE does where we get our look at the production and what goes on a daily basis, behind the scenes of creative, the wrestlers, and what they go through in the production of the show. So the first 2 episodes, before I get into this, this is a spoiler warning for you guys. So the show covers pretty much John Cena's last match in the first 2 episodes. So we're kind of getting highlights from last season going in, and then it leads into the summer, and then it ends at Saturday night's main event. So John Cena pretty much takes care of the first 2 episodes by himself, and then we get the introduction of AJ Lee, CM Punk, Liv Morgan, and in the few episodes after that, we get introduced to others such as Obafemi, Trick Williams, the Lash Legend side, and Chelsea Green has a small part in it, unlike her involvement in the previous seasons. Who else do we get? And we also get to see kind of the building of these newer guys. I would like to see more of that, but the 2 guys that we got between Obafemi and Trick Williams is actually good to see, because those are pretty much the 2 guys that are pretty much the most over. And we also got involvement from Braun Breaker, who's also a focal point of the show, but we will continue with him later. Now, the thing with the John Cena part was that I think with the John Cena portion of it, it was interesting because a lot of the time during the John Cena last time is now a year, there were a lot of downs, and John Cena in Unreal Season 3 says that is what he wanted. John said that he wanted it to be bad, like he wanted to kill wrestling. And well, it's kind of fun, like Triple H even talked about in creative meeting, is that John Cena wanted to win matches by countout, and him being bad was a part of the whole deal. But as we all know, that John Cena heel turn didn't actually work, or that idea that he had did not work, and they had to shuffle plans, and we would eventually get John Cena to turn and face, and it will lead to the return of Brock Lesnar, and it'll also talk about the AJ Styles John Cena match, how that match was not supposed to happen. It was supposed to be Drew McIntyre the entire time, but Cena went to Twitter, and the fans wanted to see him versus AJ Styles. Me and Eck, while we were here, we discussed that he needed to face AJ Styles because AJ Styles is one of his most important rivals, especially later in his career. So we got that out of it, and it was interesting to actually watch. I'm glad we actually did get that. And they talked about how the finishes were, how they did the finishes and things like that. So I did think it was a good interaction to get for the final episode, for the first 2 episodes, to see that John Cena go away tour. And also, I'm glad they didn't shy away from this, and they did not shy away from the idea of that the last match was not good. They did not hide the fact that the fans were not happy about John Cena's final match. They did not shy away from it at all. And they got the interaction. They had the reactions from the fans from the internet and things like that. They also got the fans booing Triple H, but that's pretty much what John Cena wanted was going for. John Cena essentially wanted to kill himself off of wrestling. He was saying that this is the first time that somebody is taking themselves off the show. And the way he explains it sounds better, was not executed the best, in my opinion. But I kind of got to respect where he's coming from when it comes to that. It was meant to make Gunther a star. The year hasn't turned out in that way for Gunther, because I think there's been much more things that can actually be done with Gunther, but we have not gotten those. We'll get to that. I'm not going to get too much into SummerSlam. I'm going to wait till next week. But it did not pan out the way we wanted to. And we got that infamous scene with Cena holding both belts, this reminiscent of what him and Batista did for Hogan on his pretty much, I'm not sure that was his final match on Raw, but they did that moment for Hogan. Punk was like, you know what, that's perfect that we do it for Cena. So I did enjoy the John Cena portion of it for what it was. And I'm glad they actually did focus this as well. But the person that I think that they did a lot for, in particular, in my favorite portion of it, was Liv Morgan. And because Liv Morgan, she was coming off of that injury, and she would return in November at the Survivor Series against John, and interfere and cost John Cena his match for the IC title and helping Dom regain the IC title. So I did enjoy watching that whole comeback of it, because Liv Morgan, somebody that when you watch, she does so much, and she's such a focal point of the show at this point. And you can easily tell how much Liv cares. You could tell Liv cares so much about what is going on, what WWE has done for her, what WWE has meant to her. Even when she comes backstage post from her matches, you can even tell that the way she's talking to Triple H, how much she really cares, how grateful she actually is. And we got a good look about her on her life and the things that goes on. Like they show her farm and things like that. They also show her rehab and things like that. So it was very interesting to see what Liv Morgan went through the most to get back, and all the progressions of her winning the Royal Rumble, her stuff with Stephanie Vaquer, and how physical that feud actually was. It was really good to actually get some insight on that, and I really did enjoy watching that. Liv Morgan, like I said, Liv Morgan might be one of my favorite stories in wrestling because of her rise to stardom. When we saw Liv Morgan in NXT, you would have never thought that she would possibly be the marquee on a wrestling card. You never would have thought she would be the face of a division. You never would. You would not see that. She just gradually turned into that. And one thing that Unreal did hit on a lot was injuries. And the thing with injuries are, in wrestling, they're not always a bad thing. They can be seen as a blessing. Sometimes the injuries, they benefit you in the long run, because sometimes it's good to stay off of TV. Sometimes it is good to not be around so the fans can forget about you. Returns always pop people, and sometimes it's better from a storyline perspective. And Liv Morgan's somebody who's benefited from it more than one time. Not just this time, but also when Rhea Ripley got hurt, when Liv was able to have that feud with Becky, win the women's title, and then she would pursue Dom. I don't think that feud with Rhea would have went that way if Rhea doesn't get hurt and Liv has to defeat Becky and chase Dom, because chasing Dom was probably the best part of that storyline. And we wouldn't have gotten that if Rhea was not hurt. So Liv Morgan definitely had a tremendous story in Unreal, and I really did enjoy that. And watching her and her being how grateful she was that Triple H put the title on her, like I said, you could see how happy she was that Triple H put the title and he trusted her and things like that. And he also called Liv Morgan, I believe, one of his what did he say specifically? I think I have it in my phone. But he called her one of his ringleaders. He could put her in the ring with anybody. And Liv Morgan has become that kind of person that you can put her in the ring with anybody and the match will be good. Liv Morgan doesn't deserve any flack at all. Liv Morgan has constantly grown throughout this entire time. And I really did enjoy Liv Morgan's story arc in WWE Unreal. So I highly recommend everybody to watch that. Although I do think Unreal has lost a little bit of its I guess you can say it's luster from season 1, because season 1, we weren't sure what to expect, but we got everything in season 1. And season 3, it does not present any locales like season 2 did with the Road Dog or anything. But I think Unreal, maybe because we're used to it at this point, that we're so accustomed to it that we're not really learning anything anymore. At this point, we're just kind of seeing how the process goes, or how some of the decisions we make, and the fact that we see things backstage. It is probably the most important thing about Unreal. And also Unreal, one of the big marquees was this of Unreal was the fact that we get to see AJ Lee, because AJ Lee is somebody who has been absent from WWE for years, and we never thought we would see AJ Lee return at all. But we did get AJ Lee, and she was involved in Unreal season 3. And she got a nice story arc as well. We got to hear about her upbringing, her return to the company. You got to hear a lot about that and what made her want to come back, and things she fought for and things she strove for. And although that's pretty much what all her shtick was when she did have her time on camera, it was very good to see that she actually wanted to be involved in a show like this. And you see the nerves backstage that she had before she returned. You saw that. You saw the importance of her being with CM Punk backstage, and she had a line saying that, you know what, I'm being paid like I didn't fight just for TV time, I fought for equal, and she's making just as much money as CM Punk at this point. And I thought this was really good, and I thought it was really great seeing AJ Lee on camera doing things like this, doing confessionals, seeing her feud with Becky, seeing her win the IC title. They did go through the unfortunate passing of Larry, their dog, but I think it was really good seeing AJ Lee return in WWE Unreal, and I'm glad we got to see her. Chelsea Green, of course, I think she only maybe had one scene, but of course Chelsea Green steals the show with the return of Matt Cardona. If you guys haven't seen it, I highly recommend watching that. They also hit on Trick Williams and his rise, winning the U.S. title at WrestleMania, and also Seth Rollins is also a focal point of the show. But I think the big gets for the show were Liv Morgan and AJ Lee, because the others, they've been involved in the show for the first 2 seasons, but I think Liv Morgan and AJ Lee are the standouts from WWE Unreal season 3. I did enjoy it, but like I said, I think Unreal has become something that we've become accustomed to, and the formula doesn't surprise us anymore. It doesn't. Now, the next thing I want to get to about WWE Unreal, and that is what we talked about last week, and somebody who has been, he's been a focal point, but at the same time, momentum has definitely been lost on his end, and I am talking about Braun Breaker. Now, Braun Breaker, as we discussed last week, he's reportedly been upset with his booking in WWE. And with his booking in WWE, I'll do that again. Somebody who's had a big impact in WWE and who was a focal point of WWE Unreal Season 3. Somebody who was a focal point of Unreal Season 3 was current World Tag Team Champion Braun Breaker. Now, Braun Breaker, he was a focal point of the show, one of the mainstays of the show throughout the entire Season 3 of Unreal. We also learned something, and we learned that Braun Breaker was originally supposed to win the Royal Rumble, but Triple H, they felt that they didn't want to shove him down his throat. They had some fear about him winning the Royal Rumble, and the plans were scratched. And then also, going into WrestleMania season, Braun Breaker also gets hurt. And they also hit on the fact of Seth Rollins' injury. And with Seth Rollins' injury, that also killed the entire storyline with the Vision, because they even burnt down the whole idea of what they had for the Vision. If you go back to the end of season 2, you remember that Braun Breaker was told the news by Triple H that, hey, you're going to be joining Seth the night after WrestleMania, and we all knew that would end up being him being propelled to become the biggest star, their next big top guy. But things didn't actually go that way with Braun Breaker. It didn't. Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins would get hurt. They would have to shuffle plans. And then Braun Breaker would end up getting hurt himself. And then also Bronson Reed would get hurt. But Braun, he had this freak injury. But with the injury, he would be out for WrestleMania and would miss time, but he will be able to return to at least do some physicality at WrestleMania, not from an in-ring perspective, but was able to attack Seth Rollins. But we talked about that last week as well. With Braun Breaker should have been in the Obafemi spot, essentially. Braun Breaker, he was supposed to be the main event of WrestleMania this year. He was supposed to be the main event of SummerSlam this year. He was supposed to be the heavyweight champion of the world, because we talked about this right when the Division was born. And the minute we saw Braun Breaker even debut, we knew Braun Breaker was going to be a player in this company. We knew Braun Breaker was going to be the future of the WWE. But that whole Vision angle really derailed him, because the storyline was there if Seth stayed healthy. If Seth stays healthy, Braun Breaker might right now be the heavyweight champion of the world. Definitely at WrestleMania, because the plan was, everything was laid out for Braun Breaker to succeed. It really was. Even what I thought was interesting was that when they had the backstage meeting, that when they attacked Seth and they write Seth off, Braun's carrying around the title. And it's like, do you put the belt on Braun now, or is that too predictable? Or would they accept it? But they all say, look, we'll put it on Punk. And then Braun doesn't get anywhere near that. He gets the injury, misses a WrestleMania match with Seth or for their heavyweight championship of the world. We get the match at Backlash. The match was great, but it does not have the same effect that a match at WrestleMania would have actually had for Braun Breaker. But I am glad that we got to see this. And you also see how thankful Braun is for Seth, for example. He showed nothing but love for Seth Rollins. And that's actually good to see, because Seth Rollins, at this point, Seth Rollins, arguably the best wrestler in the world today. And Braun Breaker seems to look up to him to a certain level. And he says he owes everything to Seth. And I love to see it. Braun Breaker, I do think, will end up being a huge player in this company. It's just such a shame that these events happen and it essentially cost him his spot this year. That spot's always going to be there, because him versus Obafemi in the future is going to be fantastic. It really is. But the timing was just not now. But I am looking forward to seeing Braun Breaker's future. And let me know what you guys think in the comments too. What do you think about Braun Breaker in WWE Unreal Season 3? What do you think about him potentially winning the Royal Rumble that he was supposed what do you think about him winning the Royal Rumble this past year? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. All right. All right. This past Friday night on SmackDown, Adam Pearce announced that current WWE Women's Champion Rhea Ripley, she would not be able to compete, and there will be an interim Women's Champion crown at SummerSlam in the ladder match. We had Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill qualify. Nia Jax will get her rematch for a qualifying match this Friday on SmackDown, as this is being recorded on a Wednesday. So we have to assume Nia Jax will be able to get into that match. So as of right now, it's Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton. But the interesting thing is the interim tag. WWE does not throw on the interim tag often. The last time WWE threw around an interim tag, it was in the NXT for the Cruiserweight division, where JD McDonough could not compete during COVID, during travel issues. And like I said, WWE does not throw that around that often. So at this moment, we have Jade Cargill, Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton will also defeat JC Jane on the last week's episode of SmackDown. And we have to think here. Why the interim tag? I have no clue. Now, what had me thinking is, for the interim tag to be thrown out there, Rhea must not be as hurt as people might think. She might be able to come back pretty soon, she may be able to come back pretty soon, and that's the interesting thing because the interim tag means all right, you can come back for WWE reasons. You're gonna be out for a while, but you can come back pretty soon. Not the fact that you need to relinquish your title, even though we haven't seen Rhea Ripley in 5-6 weeks. So who do we go here with? Who do we go with here? Is the question because the field is still unfull, and my pick last week was JC Jane, but we know we're not going to get JC Jane because she lost her qualifying match. But this brings up the question: since Nia's getting a rematch for her in a qualifying match, why shouldn't JC Jane? And WWE is pretty much WWE has a tendency of doing second chance matches. And if anything, I think if Nia's getting one, JC Jane should actually get one. Now, my thing with JC Jane is I thought this was all set up for JC Jane to actually win. But apparently JC Jane at this moment in time is not going to win this at all. So where do we go? This is what I'm thinking. And this is somebody that pretty much has not made an impact yet and hasn't been given the opportunity to yet. But I think this might set up a Blake Monroe sighting. I think in the long run, this is what Blake Monroe has kind of been waiting for. And like I said, this has been the perfect. I just talked about the injury thing, and this might be the perfect time to debut Blake Monroe, because during Blake Monroe's vignettes, one of the things that she did was she highlighted different women in the division, not just one. It was multiples. So with that being said, in the last few weeks, she's taken on Chelsea Green a couple of times. She took out Candice LeRae last week. But I'm thinking here that maybe we get Blake Monroe in this match because we're getting we're getting 5 other women for her to face and take out. So I think this spot is actually a great spot to debut Blake Monroe, and Blake Monroe possibly becoming the interim champion. Even if you don't have her be the interim champion, have her make an impact to get into this match, even make her have her debut match to get into this match. Let her make an impact. And even if she doesn't win it, she's not taking a pinfall loss, so you're still protecting her at this point. And then even if you do give it a title, you're made right there. And then her and Rhea, I'm sure you don't want to just give that away. I think that's a WrestleMania match on the low. But even if you want to have those two go at it, you can, because I think JC and Fatal Influence, I think they're going to take on the Bell Twins and Paige at SummerSlam. That's another reason I'm not sure if JC's going to get her second opportunity, because I think that's where we're going to head because Nikki Bella is clear. But I do think Blake Monroe is the perfect person to be inserted into this match. And I'm not against her winning at all. I am not, because during those vignettes, that was the focal point of those vignettes was all the women in the division. So you already know that you already know you're going to get Charlotte in this match. Jade's already in the match. Tiffany's already in the match, who she had a thing with on Twitch. And I'm not sure if I'm not sure if Tiffany was a part of her vignettes, but we know Charlotte was, we know Rhea was, and we know the title's on the line. Perfect. I think this is the perfect spot to debut Blake Monroe in this ladder match and potentially win it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about Blake Monroe, what she's been doing, not been doing, and let me know what you guys think about her possibly winning the Women's Championship at SummerSlam and being inserted into this match. All right. So the GOAT Tom Brady was recently at Fanatics Fest this past weekend, and he had a very interesting interaction with Vision member Logan Paul. Let's watch it. Fair use.
You're the GOAT, so you should be doing GOAT shit, and you weren't.
The whole thing.
I'm a YouTuber.
The whole game.
Yeah, so what? Like football game.
If I get my shit, I'm gonna be trapped.
Whatever. Yeah, what? If you come back next year, I'm gonna hurt you, bro. Whoa, yo, I'm gonna hurt you, bro. Show up, bro.
Fucking nice.
Bro, you're the GOAT.
All right. So that was Tom Brady giving out one of the worst slaps in history of life. But you asked, where's this coming from? So earlier this year, Tom Brady and Logan Paul were a part of a flag football game, and we'll hear what those two had to say, because Tom Brady was having some trash talk during this football game. Fair use. What is going on? All right, I figured it out, guys. All right, we have to do that again, y'all. Sorry about that. All right, I got you. Something had popped up crazy. All right, let's go. Let's get it, guys. All right. So at Fanatics Fest this past weekend, the GOAT Tom Brady had a very interesting interaction with current WWE superstar and Vision member Logan Paul. Let's check that out. Fair use. All right. Last time, guys, I promise. Sorry about that. All right. So the GOAT Tom Brady was at Fanatics Fest past weekend, and he got a very interesting confrontation with current WWE superstar Logan Paul. Fair use.
You're the GOAT, so you should be doing GOAT shit, and you weren't.
The whole thing.
I'm a YouTuber.
The whole game.
Yeah, so what? Like football game.
If I get my shit, I'm gonna be trapped.
Whatever. Yeah, what? If you come back next year, I'm gonna hurt you, bro. Whoa, yo, I'm gonna hurt you, bro. Show up, bro.
All right, so that was Tom Brady giving out one of the worst slaps in the history of life. So you asked, where does this come from? So earlier this past year, Tom Brady and Logan Paul were involved in a celebrity flag football game, and this is where the drama would start.
Well, you're a good athlete, but you're like,
No.
these guys
Great.
are another level.
I am the highest level. I am the level.
No, you're not the level.
I am the level.
You're a good athlete, but honestly, when I'm thinking of Saquon Barkley and I'm thinking of like
bro, can Saquon
Odell
Barkley
Beckham and Justin
a
Jefferson,
flip off the top rope?
Have you
a
not
180
seen him
moonsault
jump
off the top
over
rope
someone's
onto
head?
LA
it's
Knight?
cute. It's a great, I love WWE. It's very cute. But honestly, this is like real football. This is real competition.
I was an all-state linebacker. I rushed for 1,200 yards, 19 touchdowns my senior year.
Well, let's see what you can still bring it. I mean, look, we all had a great pass. I won 7 Super Bowl. Who don't gives a shit? You know what matters? This game, March 21st in Saudi. I'm glad you're going to be there, and I'm glad you're finally going to participate in like a competition that matters.
This guy's insane. The audacity of Tom Brady. I can't believe it. Wins 7 Super Bowls, thinks he can just go around and talk about his flag football game like it's going to be the Pro Bowl.
It's going to be way better than that.
Wait, I think I'm on your team, bro.
Really?
You said
well,
that.
Then I'm going to feed you. Because you're going to be, have you been working on your routes?
No, bro. But stop talking shit to me. I need to be amped up like you did when you guys were down 28-3 in that one Super Bowl.
Then I'm going to do that. Look, I'm focused and I want us to win. And if you're on my team, then look, we're going to be best friends.
Bro, but I know if I drop that ball, you'll never talk to me again.
I'm a motherfucker you like I did Edelman and Gronk. That's what I'm going to do.
I don't know if
you're going to get a good piece of that.
I don't know if I could deal with this, bro.
No, you can deal with that.
All right, I'll do it. I wear gloves with the sticky stuff.
That's what you want.
All right, get out of here, Tom. Thanks for giving us a
All right, so that's where the trash talk will come. I will start. Now, let's go to the highlights of the game where things got a little physical between the two. All right, so that was the little mix-up at the actual flag football game. And now this is where this is where Logan calls out Tom Brady's slap. Fair use.
We see Tom all the time now. Well, not since the the game, but this dude always wants smoke. Like he's angry guy.
He's an angry guy.
Why is that?
You know what I think?
From the roast?
Maybe
He's still
there's
angry?
some resentment. You know what I can compare Tom Brady to Homelander. Everyone thinks he's this good guy. And it's all for the people. It's all for the kids.
It's fake.
No, bro. Behind closed doors, Tom Brady wants to kill you. That's how I feel about me anyway. The way he looks at me, bro, we cross paths.
Is he here today?
Yeah, we literally just walked past.
So the funny thing is that's pretty much the thing when it comes to Tom Brady. As Skip Bayless would say and call him, he's Psycho Tom. So let's continue.
They had to hold him back. Had to hold Tom Brady
Told him
back.
to watch his ass.
Really?
No, he wasn't at first. He wasn't even doing anything. Tom walked by and got aggressive again, bro. He's angry.
I'm actually under
Alpha
attack.
is fucking
I'm under attack.
ready to
And the
go
problem
at
is he's a stud. He's a 6'7" stud. And he's fucking Tom Brady, bro.
And Tom Brady.
It's so I found it when I was trying to talk shit to him. It's so hard to talk shit to him until I beat him in the flag football game.
Oh, I bet that felt good.
It was amazing. So I started rubbing it in his face. That's what he got mad about. He tried to strike me, tried to assault me.
I could see him getting a little frustrated about
Yeah, he was, bro. Just flag football. Chill out, bro. Chill out, Homelander.
Maybe next time I come
Yeah.
play a little flag football.
All right, so that was Logan Paul on the whole Tom Brady situation. And if I already know how TKO feels like this. TKO is like Tom Brady in WWE.
Give me what I want. Give me what I want.
TKO was eating all that up. So also we got WWE superstar Alexa Bliss. She was also stopped at the airport and was asked about the whole idea of Tom Brady potentially coming to the WWE. Fair use.
Apparently, we broke yesterday actually that Tom Brady's in some type of discussions to meet in the ring.
Yeah, I saw him at Fanatics Fest.
Right.
So there was a whole
It got
issue
spicy.
that happened. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about that? Do you think it could be good for the sport, for him? Do you think people will be embracing it or hating on it?
I think it's always fun when someone comes into our world because then they learn how difficult it actually is and how intense it actually is. And
Yeah.
you know, because a lot of people that come from other backgrounds and everything, you know, have amazing athletic ability, but nothing prepares your body for what goes on in WWE.
Yeah, it's
especially
not.
my first day. My first day, I was not prepared, and it's a rude awakening.
You could end up. You could end up like this.
If that happens, Tom will have magic braces.
Would you ever offer your services to, like, you know, introduce him to, you know, how it's done, you know, maybe give him a little training lesson?
Oh, there's a bunch of people that are really awesome at that, especially in our world, because everyone's pretty welcoming and, you know, everyone wants to stay safe.
Do you feel like that, like part of the whole, you know, bringing people in, right? That is there ever like a line where it's like, oh God, here we go again?
No, but you know, you have to ask Logan Paul that question because he did that whole segment where he was like, we don't want outsiders coming in.
And he's an outsider. Like,
iconic.
So the anticipation for that match.
Oh, I think it'd be awesome. And I'm always excited with anybody that comes into our world, and because you know you learn a lot of respect for it, and you learn how difficult it is, and to see people come in, and you know, like people like Bad Bunny who like came in and like was so respectful, took it seriously, trained hard. Logan's come in, he's trained hard. Like there's so many people that come in and, you know, embrace it, and you know, whenever anyone else comes into our world and fully embraces it, it's always fun.
No divas allowed. Except the divas.
Well,
All right, so that was Alexa Bliss giving her thoughts on Tom Brady coming into the WWE for some type of match or interaction, and we're going to hear from one of Tom Brady's peers from the NFL, and as also NFL Hall of Famer Drew Brees.
We got to ask you too. Tom Brady wants to go to the WWE. Can you see them fighting in the ring?
They should schedule it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
We got to ask about your induction.
Hey, here, go ahead.
I know you're getting inducted. Congrats on that.
August 8th, Ken, you gonna be there? TMZ gonna be there?
Well, they got to fly
Come on,
me out.
hey, come to Ken. We'll get you there. Hey, where we at? Over there?
How has the bus process been?
I gotta roll.
How has the bus process been, Mr. Brees?
All right, so that was Drew Brees' comments about his peer Tom Brady and fellow Hall of Famer potentially being in the WWE or having some kind of involvement with WWE. So this is my thoughts. Like I said, WWE, they will do anything. They are all in on celebrity involvement, and I think that Tom Brady coming to the WWE for anything is a heaven sent. They would have never booked that in their wildest dreams, I think that it'll be very good to see. I think it'll get a lot of social media reaction, especially with Logan Paul. Logan Paul is somebody who a lot of fans would love to see just get beat up, or somebody that they would love to see get the comeuppance. And I think that Logan Paul will be actually the perfect person for Tom Brady to actually interact with, especially with their little pass of the whole flag football game, the interactions from social media, from when they had their sit-down interview. I think that Tom Brady and Logan Paul are great together. And I think this will actually be a good thing that does happen. If this does happen, it could be a SummerSlam thing. It doesn't have to be a whole wrestling match. I don't think we're going to get a Tom Brady's 48. I don't think we're going to get a 48 years old Tom Brady in ring. I think we might see him wrestling match. I think we might see him get some interaction from a ring perspective, maybe a run in or things like that, or costing Logan Paul a match. But I think that's pretty much about it. But I think that's enough coverage that they would actually need. So let me know what you guys think in the comments about Logan Paul versus Tom Brady potentially, and let me know what if there's anything that you want to see Tom Brady do specifically in the WWE if that does end up happening. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. This is an awful picture of Paige. This doesn't even look like Paige anymore. We got to get a better picture, guys. They really didn't update her page around. All right. All right. All right. As you guys know, former WWE Women's Tag Team Champion Paige, she always was not in WWE. Remember Paige? Oh God. All right, guys. So as you guys know, Paige, she had some time in AEW, and this is the first time speaking about it. So let's go to the Bellas podcast where Paige. Damn it. All right, guys. As you know, the returning Paige. All right, guys. As you know, Paige, before she returned to WWE, she had a small stint in AEW, and Paige went on to the Bellas podcast to discuss her time in AEW. Fair use.
I did go to AEW, and you guys, I did have a great time there, but my heart wasn't in it. Yeah. And I feel like you could see that in my performance when I was in the ring there and my character. And it was just like, I'm a WWE girl, man. Like, I love WWE. And so, yeah, like I went there for a couple of years, and, you know, we went our separate ways, and it was like, it ended really, really great. And like, I have nothing but love when it comes to AEW and Tony and stuff like that. But yeah. When it comes to WWE, like that's just where I've wanted to be forever. Yeah. Like I've been there since I was 18 years old. I gave my neck for this company, you know, like I grew up here, you guys, like,
right.
You know,
you did.
I was a kid. I was a baby. Like
you were such a baby,
you know? Yeah. So, and then when it comes to getting the call and I was so excited, but I didn't have any preparation time for the match at all.
No.
Like it was Monday, and then I had stuff like my manager said today, he was like, oh, we got stuff Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then we have the Mania on Saturday. I didn't have any time to get in the ring. And then we did have rehearsals, but it was like, I was just coming in at the end of the match. So I was like, well, thank gosh, I don't have to do too much. But then obviously we end up winning the tag team championship.
Because we're badasses.
That's right.
That was up.
Hey,
and you rocked it too. You did. I mean, girl, it's in your.
All right, guys. So that was Paige on the Bellas podcast about her time in AEW. And as you guys know, I am a huge Paige fan. And when Paige debuted at AEW under her real name, Saraya, I was very excited because I 100% see where she says that her heart wasn't in it. As you guys know, I'm not sure if you guys remember, but Paige, she suffered a neck injury at a house show of all places. And her career was up in question because we did not know that we would actually see Paige ever wrestle again. And after her injury, she would become the general manager of SmackDown for a couple of years. And then during COVID, she was eventually released. And we did not know what the next thing will be for Paige. We know at that time WWE was not clearing people, especially from neck injuries. But a couple of weeks, maybe a year or so later, we get the return of Edge. Well, actually, in 2020, we did get the return of Edge. So Edge returned from years after a neck injury, and later on, a few years later, Paige would get cleared in AEW. Like her AEW debut, she was immediately physical, and being physical, I immediately said, you know what? If she's physical. She's wrestling. And she had that debut match with Britt Baker. And after that, the run wasn't the same. I was very, very critical of the AEW run. I was not a fan of it at all. I had high hopes for it, but I was not a fan at all. When it comes to Paige, certain things, I guess you might be able to say that maybe the talents evolved so much that maybe they just kind of surpassed her. You can say, but I thought the AEW run was awful. I did love the moment that she had in England when she did when she did win the AEW Women's World Championship. I was a big fan of that moment. I'm a big softie, so I was a big fan of that. But you could easily tell that in this AEW run, there was not much there, and that her heart was not in it at all. she was just happy to be able to wrestle again. And AEW was the place that gave her the opportunity to do that. I was not a fan of the whole Tony Storm stuff when they were the fake and with the Outcasts or the NWO as I would jokingly call them. Was not a fan of it at all. And also, I don't think she didn't have anything to latch onto after a while, especially when I believe Tony Storm would become timeless Tony Storm. It was just her and Ruby got pregnant, and that was essentially it. But I'm glad that Paige is back in WWE. Like I said, like I never thought I would hear Stars in the Sky again unless it was on my gym playlist, and and it's better than the fact that I even got to see her at WrestleMania. And I think Paige returning might be one of the biggest moments of the year. And like I said, if you guys are not shed a tear after she got that pinfall victory at WrestleMania, there might be something wrong with you. Or if you guys can get choked up, feel any type of emotion, because that's a moment that she would have never thought she would have gotten in her life that she got. So let me know what you guys think in the comments about Paige's time in AEW as Saraya, and let me know what you guys think about her return in WWE in the comments. Thanks. All right. Also at Fanatics Fest this past weekend, we got kick streamer Neon. He got himself into a little bit of trouble backstage. Fair use.
We gonna make her like me. Hello, how you guys doing? Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
No camera?
I use mask.
Yeah.
Can you delete this, please?
Oh yes, I will.
You take something with
I'll delete. We gonna.
All right, so that was kick. Debatably, he walked backstage at Fanatics Fest and got Penta's face on camera. Now in the video, Penta's face is actually blurred out, so we're keeping that protected at all times. And the question is, was it honest of him of doing that? Now he's getting a lot of flack from this is Neon, and even the wrestlers are taking to it. So there's a clip going around of Dom even flipping off Neon as Neon was backstage in the front of at ringside, and Neon even gives out an apology for the situation. So we're going to check out his apology.
This isn't the best timing because of the clip that's resurfacing. I want to address that real quick now that I'm like literally sitting in front of the ring. Also, they also gave us permission. We can't show the whole thing obviously, but we're allowed to pan back here, back and forth a little bit, back and forth with the pan. Okay, so we can show that. I just want to say, wait, Brunson and Halliburton are here. Hey. I just wanted to apologize to him. I apologize to him off camera. It was a clear misunderstanding. They told him that he could take the mask off in that area, and they told me I could stream in that area, and it just flashed and shit happened. It was never my intention. I would never do that on purpose, and I'm sorry.
But also, Neon's also known as somebody who really can't be trusted, because I believe that he faked his own passing to get some kind of to get views in the past, but you can make the argument if this is actually genuine or not. But as you know how wrestling fans are, it's like, you know what, especially with this new era of streamers and things like that, they'll do anything for clicks and views. They will. And this is supposed to be protected. And the thing is, you can't, since it was a live stream, he can't delete this. It's going to go around. Like, even if he did take it, even though he did take it down, everybody's clipping it. Everybody's clipping this. And this is right now the image of Dom, the king of the luchadors and current AAA mega champion, flipping off Neon. he's flipping him off right there. So Neon gets no love from the king of the luchadors and Dominic Mysterio at all. And this is the thing where you run into with these streamers backstage and things like that. You know, it could have actually been a genuine mistake. His cameraman did not have to pan to him, but he did. But like I said, even though he did delete the stream, you cannot help anybody from clipping that. And that is what would end up happening. That clip got clipped around, and now it's still all over Twitter. All this almost a week later, still circling around on Twitter, so you can't find it. But we did not show Penta's face here on this live stream. But let me know what you guys think in the comments about this entire thing when it comes to streamers. And let me know what you guys think of Neon, because nowadays, like, we have these streamers and it's kind of like, bro, like, what do you do? like honestly, like, what do you guys do? And this is a situation where it's like, all right, like, you get permission, but come on, man. Like, stuff like this, honest mistake, but it is what it is. So let me know what you guys think in the comments about Neon recording Penta backstage without his mask. All right, guys. So that is everything for this week. I will be back next week for SummerSlam, you guys, and maybe I'll have Eric back with me. But as always, thumbs up, turn post notifications, comment anything for the algorithm. I'm Aaron Lloyd, and I will see you guys soon.
Got him now, put him down right now, hit him with the palm handle. Tuning up the band, y'all don't understand. Fist of Superman, it's a SummerSlam. Here we go again. Fans marking man, I hate my balls. Shut the Vince McMahon, it ain't safe to land off the cell. Fans love it, ain't hard to tell. Talking madness, awesome. Well, what I'm cooking, man, y'all off the smell.